out, like.
All right, we'll send it by messenger pigeon for you.
We'll send the carrier pigeons out. Yeah, I'm just glad they're not actually yelling at me this time.
I'm gonna stop making a burner account and just go in there and say the opposite of what the people are saying. That was me that said the
And then there's like another guy. He's like Trumpism, like with fake news.
Now he's making stuff up. Trumpism.
Trumpism is not real.
I'm like, wait, what?
Isn't Trump's ism now?
Where do we get Trumpism from? We were just talking about
autism, more like it.
Trumpism, more like autism, from the Saving Grace burner account.
That'd be a good burner to have.
All right.
It's a church burner. What kind of nonsense is going on with that?
This water is not cold. This water is cold. More water.
More cold water.
Exactly.
Interesting.
This will be for you, Dominic. Let me go get you an extension for this so I can plug it into the board.
Thank you.
Did Dominic refuse the pod without hearing himself?
He did not refuse. He just said, "Can I have headphones this time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll get you headphones."
I can't work under these conditions.
Can't find your
I'm
headphones.
still waiting on my all blue M&Ms, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh! Get after it.
I'm gonna come in next week without the
I love that. I'm not gonna lie.
What's up with blue M&Ms?
Well, nothing, but it's like
It's normally green.
Yeah.
That's why you changed it.
Yeah, it'd be different. If I'm gonna be a D-bag, I'd be a different one. Can't be the same as everyone else. She said the red Skittles, the yellow ones.
All
The red
Skittles
skins
taste
you
the
said?
same.
All M&Ms taste the same.
Yeah, because M&Ms are just chocolate.
Actually, Skittles don't taste the same.
I think they taste the same. If you were to put Skittles in front of me and just have me eat them with my eyes closed, I would not be able to tell
I do
you
think
the
Skittles
difference.
taste different.
Skittles do taste different.
But it could be all in my
It's
head.
proven that Skittles taste different because each one has a separate flavor.
I believe they do. I just don't taste the difference.
It's specified in the bag.
Sir, you plug it right
It
there.
If you were to put Skittles in front of me and have me eat them with my eyes closed, I would not be able to tell which one was which.
I could probably get pretty close.
Well, that's just because I usually eat Skittles a few at a time.
I put like about, I don't know, 15 or
See,
20
I
of
would
them
like to
in my mouth.
reload your legs.
Command R.
Me and Will were driving buddies today.
Right. I'll be real upset if you didn't let me by.
I wasn't going to, and then I noticed it was you.
And I was planning on cutting you off until I realized it was you. I was like, well, maybe I won't be as aggressive. She'll just let me by. You did.
I was like, oh, I don't want to hear it from him. I'm just going to let him go.
Or
You
you
know
behind
what?
you, laying on the horn.
Me. Whoa.
Then I saw him pulling a honeydew, and I was like, I should just follow him wherever he goes.
You should have. I would have said, whatever the lady behind me wants, I'll pay for it.
I'll pay for none of it. Just want to let you guys know.
I know the lady.
Whatever
now.
she wants, I'm not paying for any of it. All right, sir.
Actually, the lady behind me says my iced tea's on her tab. We're friends.
That'd be crazy. I wonder if you could do that.
My dad was very excited about today's thing. He's like, cancel culture is a big thing today. I was
Oh,
like,
it was hilarious. Josh was over here like, I don't know much about cancel culture, and then Pastor Flu was like, yeah, it's such a big thing. I was like, how do you know more?
What do you know about cancel culture, bastard?
He's all about it.
It's the worst.
We were like naming off people that got canceled in there with Nancy, so
I think I got the OG.
we got a good list of
of
people.
cancel culture. But I'm not gonna say it until we're into it.
What do you think?
You might agree. Well, it might have been early 2000s, but actually it might have been.
Eminem?
No, Eminem's not been.
Are you about to say he's never been canceled?
He's never been
He's
canceled.
never been canceled.
I feel like he has been.
There's controversy around him, but he's never been canceled.
You can't cancel somebody that doesn't care.
And that's also
It's my whole thing. Can't cancel me, I don't care. Doesn't work.
I didn't realize I had the choice to cancel myself.
I mean, there is.
So if I don't want to be canceled, I'm not canceling.
True.
That's it.
So who's the cancel? Who cancels you?
Woke
The
Twitter.
people.
The people.
Well, Twitter's not woke anymore. Now Twitter's owned by Elon, man.
Twitter's still woke.
No, Elon's not the CEO anymore.
He stepped down from
some
that.
woman.
If AOC is on Twitter, Twitter's still woke.
He stepped down so he could say whatever he wanted on Twitter.
Well, he did what he accomplished. He wanted to get inside all the technical stuff and all the data, And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna step down, but I'm still being in charge of all the data.
Elon Musk is unhinged on Twitter.
He's so funny, man. That dude definitely has autism.
He's been funny for a long time on Twitter.
He just doesn't care. That's the thing.
No.
He really just doesn't care.
He'd be posting memes.
Now he like directly calls people out because what are they gonna do?
Well, you
Ban him on his own app?
There's two kinds of people you can be, and this is what I strive for in life. I was telling you, your mom started laughing because I told her this at the party on Monday. I says, I want to be, I'm never going to be rich enough to say whatever I want, so I want to become one of those old guys that can just say whatever they want, like those crotchety old guys. So I said, I have to start, no, so she started laughing because on Monday I just dropped one or two things. I was like, so what I got to do is periodically, I just got to drop one thing that just is like, I don't care. So like by the time I get to be like Arthur's age, I can just be like that guy that just says whatever he wants. You know?
That's what he does.
He
But
does.
to be fair, I
But
do the
he's
same
nice
thing.
about it.
No.
My papa?
No, he just says whatever.
Dude, I love your papa's Facebook post. It's like, another beautiful morning, sitting by the pool. I love you, Carol.
Yeah.
Carol, my rock.
Good morning, Ethan.
But
Good
there's
morning,
always
Ethan.
like a randomly like a random capitalized word.
Yeah, or something's wildly misspelled. He messages me on Facebook every time my sports team has a devastating loss. Says, I'm sorry, Dominic. The other day, I think Celtics lost maybe game 3. He texts me and goes, I'm sorry, Dominic. And he said, cookout at my house at 2, bring Caroline. And I didn't know when it actually was 2 weeks away, the cookout. So if I showed up Sunday, there would have been no cookout. He just didn't give me a specific date.
If there's a cookout, you should be there. When?
Yeah, but you know the funny thing is, he would have still cooked for you. He would have been like, yeah, I'll make it. Don't worry, I'll pull out the grill.
He tells me
My
all the
papa
time I
was
can pull up.
hilarious on Sunday. People kept showing up, so he had to keep making more food.
You're making food forever.
Well, it's because I showed up and then I had the cold hot dogs, and then he felt bad that I ate the cold hot dogs, so he made more food. And then Justin showed up, and Justin was like, "You don't have to make me food, it's fine." And then he said, "No, I'll make you food." And he made more food.
Oh, you must be new here. I'm making you food.
Yeah. So text comes in May 20th. That's a week and a half before the 2 Sundays away from the cookout. And he said, sorry, Dom, they played flat. Sorry, Domenico. Party Sunday at 2 o'clock. Bring Caroline.
Domenico.
And the next day, sorry, Dom, maybe all over tonight. Go Steelers.
Yeah.
He's such a guy.
And then I said, still got plenty of games to go, but still go Steelers, LOL. And then he said, no more sound. 'Cause I guess in this moment in time, he realized that I wasn't running the board anymore. He just totally went left on the conversation. And I just said, no more. He said, okay.
He always sounds so passive aggressive on text messages. It's kind of funny. He means so well, but his text messages always come out kind of passive.
I texted him the day after we lost the other day. Bro, we stink so bad. Yes, but happy birthday.
Yes.
Yes, but happy birthday. At least you turned a positive spin onto it.
He's so
You're
funny.
right. You guys stink.
But happy birthday.
Have a happy birthday.
Game 7 of the Bruins, he texted me every time there was a score update.
Oh my god.
2-1 down. 2-2. 3-2. And I said, we're putting it together. And then we lost. He said, sorry, Dom. I said, this hurts so bad. He said, I know, they played okay, but not good enough. Lost 3 straight.
He's just rubbing salt into the wounds. with
Every
his
time.
At least you know that like if you're not watching the game, like you'll still know the score.
I'll know.
You don't even need to download an app. Like he's got you covered.
I just gotta text him about it, and he'll update me the score the entire
He's
time.
downstairs on his recliner, like, oh, gotta text Tom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
My favorite human in the world.
cancel culture. Looks like we got some articles.
We have to come up with a title.
We got any good titles? We're gonna wait for something witty to pop up throughout the episode. Is that what we're doing?
That's what I normally do for ours. We just talk, and then when something fun happens, we just name that the episode.
You find your sweet spot on that thing?
No, not yet.
Well, you have it like higher than usual. Usually you have it like down here.
No, I don't. Usually I have it up,
Yeah,
pointing
don't you
down.
usually do it like that?
No, usually I have it like pointing down at my face, like kind of like that.
You also have to realize where the sound comes in on the mic.
I don't know that. I just talk.
So, like, if you're talking up here,
I
it's
usually
not
have
gonna
it pretty
sound as
close
good
because
as
I
it
talk quietly.
does
So
in
usually I put
space.
it pretty close.
You can almost like kiss it.
Yeah, because I talk quietly.
And you guys all look pretty well blended here. So.
Okay, we're good. I won't move it anymore. I lied. I'll probably move it throughout the whole thing.
I
It's
moved
nice.
this once, but I'm a little closer.
I have the headphones so I can hear everybody. Will sounds very loud. Sierra somehow still sounds very quiet. And here I am, doing well.
Here I am.
I always end up moving.
Definitely got that song right into my brain as soon as you said it.
I always end up moving closer to it
Rock
when I
band.
talk, though. So
I can tell you.
Yeah, and then what's cool about it now is now I record on all 4 channels. So
Yeah.
like when I put it into Audition, I always have to add like 5. You can come in. I always have to add like 5 to 10 on her.
That's what they do when I use the microphone on stage too.
Yeah.
All the way up.
We're about to start now. So you caught us right
Wait for our
What's the
last
topic
guest.
today?
Stop doing
You
that.
know what
The
the
cancel
topic is.
culture.
We told you on Sunday.
I forgot. How you doing now?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's the topic, Josh? You told me a topic, but I forgot.
Cancel culture then.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember.
You know
now.
more about it than he does.
I do. I know all about cancel culture. Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's how they get you. It's how you can't work anymore. What?
Can't do nothing. Can't live.
No?
You guys hiding here?
Yeah.
Should open a window, Josh.
Yeah, but then I'll get the noises from outside.
Oh. Get the sounds of nature.
Sounds of nature don't sound too good on the podcast.
Too bad you don't have the fan.
Out of
here.
cold water.
Well, you guys have a good program. I'll
Thank
start my class.
Enjoy.
Have a
Enjoy.
good class.
Oh, I'll have a blast.
Don't forget to put your recorder on.
Today is a recap. I'm not gonna use the recorder.
Just put it on anyway, just so we can, cause that way me and Will can listen to it after.
Alright. Because I'm just recapping the last 3 months.
Yeah, that's fine. Just put it on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Here we go. We are up. We are up. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Temporary Insanity. And we have a full house today with us in studio. Our standard co-hosts who have now gotten in the same room. We got our good old suave voice of Mr. Will McCoy.
This guy.
Back from being under the weather, Miss Sierra Tanzi.
I'm now over the weather.
Now she's over the weather. She bought an umbrella, as Rihanna would say. And in studio yet again, it's been a few weeks, our boy Domenic Percival.
It's been a few months. Been a lot longer than a few weeks.
I thought you were gonna.
Two
I thought you were
months.
gonna say Pereira for a minute.
Why?
I don't know why. I thought it was like Pereira's gonna come out of his mouth.
That's not my name.
I mean, you know, it's got some similarities. I mean, start with the first 2 letters, you know.
I don't know.
But we are excited to come at you guys this
There's
week.
3 letters.
Exactly.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
Well, I do have that public school education.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we are definitely excited to come at you guys this week with a topic that I'm sure will be pretty heated. Not from us in here, but as our social media wars have been going on. Not from us also in here. Apparently people following our social media posts have been going at each other a little bit.
heated for no
Bunch of
reason.
clowns. They're all a bunch of clowns.
I mean, it was a simple post. It was just like, hey, check out our show, and then people just started going at each other.
Rules.
I'm glad they didn't come at us though. Like, you know, it's about time they're not coming at me this time.
We don't
Like,
really do anything wrong in the first place. We're just spitting some opinions.
we're like, hey, check out our podcast, and they're like, boop. And I'm like, but we do appreciate a lot of the love. Hey, listen to you new listeners who are checking us out, and some of you have put out some real love, loving texts on our pages. Welcome to the Temporary Insanity family. We're glad to have you. Some really good support coming out there. Keep sharing our page. Keep sharing our podcast. We love that you've joined it. And for those of you who are kind of, a little more colorful on the page and whatnot, we're glad that you're listening too. It's always good to have a little bit of discussion on these things. But today, I'm not sure where we're going to end up. I mean, because we're talking about cancel culture. This is going to be for the young bucks in the room. They're going to kind of run the show today. I'm going to kind of sit back and maybe they'll set me off on a little tangent. We don't know what's going to
You
happen.
say that you're gonna sit back like every week, and then
Then you guys set me off.
and then you just go off.
Like last week was supposed to be such a simple episode. We were supposed to just talk about Memorial Day, and then like the whole thing with the Satanists at Target just got me going. Like
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was funny. Someone called me a maverick. They're like, "You're a maverick." I'm like, "Why?" Because I'm just trying to figure things out. Like, you know.
Call that boy Tom Cruise the way
Tom
he
Cruise,
did.
the Maverick. Oh,
Well, you
man.
know, it's like, and I'm still waiting for the press release. Last week, I just simply said a simple thing. They're like, you know what? We read the article. I mean, it was a published article. We shared the article online. The article was from the founder of that LGBTQ design line that said that, you know, the Satanist movement was an all-inclusive movement. And so basically they were like, hey, LGBTQ people are basically Satanists. So I'm like, is he speaking for all LGBTQ people, right, Will?
That's a question.
And so I was like, so, you know, the LGBTQ community is like, you know, y'all don't understand us. You Christians and you people of faith, you don't understand where we're coming from. Well, I just asked a simple question. Are you all Satanists? Are you not Satanists? Because quite frankly, if you don't know where y'all stand, then how are we supposed to know? So I just made a simple suggestion that I think would bring a lot of clarity to the situation. Like, you guys call a town meeting amongst yourselves, you know, and then you discuss, you know, like where y'all stand on everything, and then you put out like a press release so that we could read it, and we could understand it, so we could all be on the same page. And then you can't be like, you don't understand, because if you don't understand, then how are we supposed to understand? Does that not make sense, Dominic? Am I making sense what I'm saying here? I mean, I don't think I'm asking for too much, all right? I'm just trying to be informed.
I mean, you're asking for all the gay people to get together and reach
I'm sure they have
consensus.
spokespeople.
I don't think so.
But I'm just asking if the man is the de facto spokesperson for the LGBTQ plus community, because he said that Satan was a symbol of inclusion. Back in my day, a Satanist was not a symbol of inclusion. He was a symbol of Satanism, like, you know, like human sacrifice and Satanist things. All right, that's what Satanism was.
Goodness.
Yeah?
I respected a good old fashioned Satanist. I didn't agree with them, but at least I knew what they stood for.
You
Like,
can respect somebody that sticks
I
close to their
wouldn't
morals.
say he's like a spokesperson for it, because literally nobody knew who this person was.
I think that's what
until
the problem
Target
was. He's
from,
like,
Spokesperson for gays is
He said,
James
"Oh,
Charles.
I'm a Satanist, but I'm doing something for the LGBTQ community." So they're kind of like, he aligned them together. So if he's not the spokesperson, someone should let him know he shouldn't be doing things like that without the permission of the spokesperson.
and then he comes out and he says, and I quote, and I quote, Satanism is a symbol for inclusion. Come on, man.
Unless you're a Christian, then they don't want it.
Satanism is a symbol for drinking blood and you know, human sacrifice and going to the graveyards. Oh, and FYI, for those of you who don't know, you know, as if Target didn't learn from the whole you know, Budweiser, Bud Light, you know, debacle when they lost all that money. $9 billion as of the last time I read an article. They've lost $9 billion because of this clown. So I mean,
I got two things for this. One, which will tie into what we have today. Target has officially been canceled.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Two, Budweiser has since avoided cancellation. I was watching TV today and I saw a commercial from Budweiser, a new commercial I've never seen before, where they partnered with Harley Davidson motorcycles.
They went to the opposite.
They're officially a man brand again.
They're just leaving women out of it now.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, I always
Like,
found
we
that.
tried, we failed, we're moving on.
I went to a baseball game right after that whole Budweiser thing, and it's like I felt so bad for the guy who had to carry the, you know, they walk up and down and they're like,
sponsored by Bud Light.
Budweiser here, Bud here, Bud here, and he's like walking, nobody's buying his beer, and he, like, this poor guy's walking up like all those stairs at Fenway Park.
Everyone's throwing rocks
and I
at
was like, you know, like, he's just like his whole thing's full, like, right, and then like you see like the Coors guy come behind him, like, yeah, I'll take a Coors. The Coors guy was souped, like,
I mean,
this
Coors is better anyway.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I've always been like a Michelob Ultra guy, but you know, I'm just saying, you know.
I'm a Stella guy. I like my.
But
yeah.
But I think with this, though, if you like something, why does it matter? Like, who cares what the spokesperson is? If you like the taste of it, just buy it.
But it was the
Air.
it was the principle of the thing. First of all, you take Bud, which is like this all time like you know, American beer, and they're like. Come on, man.
You gotta know your demographic. You gotta know your
Like,
demographic.
this is like, I'm not gonna stop shopping at Target just because of this. Like, I'll just avoid the section. Like, I'm
To
not
be
gonna.
frank, I have not gone back to Target.
I'm not gonna stop.
I have
shopping
also
at
not
Target.
gone back to Target.
I like Target. I don't like the Target people. I like what Target sells. I'll just avoid that section.
Sarah, you know me. You actually wrote my Instagram bio, right, which says that I lived for Target. Actually, which I have to update because I don't know how to do that. But
It's like walks on the beach and Target trips.
yeah, Target
Something
trips.
like that.
I mean, I had to I had to stand my ground. I could not support the Target brand based on principle
This is along-
of their alignment
This is
with.
along the same lines of people who aren't eating at Chick-fil-A.
It is.
No, it's not.
I think it's for
it's
the
not
opposite.
because all of those allegations are falsehoods.
True.
All of them
True.
have been disproven and were taken out of context.
I
But I
thought
think
the
it's the
whole
same- it's
thing
the
was
same-
because they're Christian owners and Christians don't like the gays.
No, the whole
Quote,
thing
unquote.
is people thought that they were donating to anti-gay
Yeah.
charities, and they were not.
But I think it's the same sentiment, but yeah, Chick-fil-A was unproven, but it's like, all right, the Chick-fil-A is not standing towards the rights of the LGBTQ, so I'm not going to support them.
But they're not standing against it.
Right.
But I love how there's a double standard here, right? Like let's reverse the role a little bit here. So Target comes out, and this actually goes really well with the cancel culture mentality because it's super one-sided. Target comes out in support of this whole this whole thing with the Satanist guy and all that, and then so Christians, we start to stand up. We're like, we can't stand by, and we're not going to support this establishment because they're doing something that blatantly is really, we just can't support this, right? And look, this is a personal conviction thing. I'm not judging anybody who still shops at Target. I'm not judging anybody who doesn't. What I'm saying is, this is a personal conviction thing. My personal conviction was I can't. I'm not going to support an organization that does that because that's my personal conviction. But then, so we go online and we state our disdain for the decision that was made, and then we get attacked, right? Oh, how dare you? How dare you? But go back to Chick-fil-A, right? Years ago, Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, a few other Christian organizations decided that when Obamacare was coming out, and they were getting employers to pay into different parts of the healthcare system, and you can fact check this if you'd like, for all of those who are going to send me those love letters that I love to receive. And these Christian organizations did not want to pay into a part of the healthcare that was being provided, that was being mandated or trying to be mandated to force them to pay towards abortion, right? Because we don't agree with it. And so all you non-Christian people who are pro-abortion started boycotting Hobby Lobby, or canceling, I guess, the cancel culture mentality, started boycotting the Hobby Lobby, started boycotting Chick-fil-A, started boycotting these Christian companies, but it was okay, right? It was okay because
You're standing up for the rights.
you were standing up for the rights of other people. What a double standard! What a double standard! So as believers, it's kind of like going back to the guy from the San Jose Sharks that we were talking about, Rime, right? When he didn't want to wear the LGBTQ patch on his uniform. Dude still hasn't gotten a contract. 13 years as an outspoken Christian on the Sharks. He was canceled because he didn't say nothing against the LGBTQ community. He just said he didn't want to wear the patch on his uniform for Pride Night. Cancel culture is very biased. I think that's the problem I have with this whole thing. It's shame on you. If you don't support the things that are popular culture.
That's the point of the cancel culture. We've seen it early with Kaepernick, and we see it with the guy from the Sharks. I remember that being a huge thing. I remember listening to a bunch of podcasts about that because I listen to a lot of hockey podcasts, and it was spoken about. And it's very much, everybody's supposed to believe the same things. If you go against that, you're going to get tanked. Like the Kaepernick situation. Kaepernick knelt, yada yada. You're supposed to not do that. Whatever. Didn't do it. It's like you're being punished for doing something that you're not supposed to in the eyes of society.
And it's funny because you can kind of compare Kaepernick with the guy from the Sharks.
It's the same thing.
They had their own conviction, right? Kaepernick was kneeling for the lives of black people, and the guy in the Sharks was standing up for his religious belief. But the narrative that was put out was different.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden Kaepernick hates the military and the guy from the Sharks hates the gays. Well, no, I have a conviction, I have a thing that I want to stand for and show reverence for, and now the narrative has changed, and now off of that narrative that wasn't what was supposed to be in the beginning, that's why they're being canceled. So it's a very strange thing. It's not like it's never a straight up thing, right? The narrative kind of has to change to fit the cancel culture. It's not like, oh, they did this one thing. It's like, well, that one thing they did really means this, and that's bad, so they should be canceled. And it's kind of like you can't avoid cancel culture when the cancel mob comes for you. It's like it's always the little guy, right? Oh, well, we're standing up for the little guy, so we're gonna take down this giant and cancel him. It's like, that's not how things work. It's because you're offended personally. You can't rile up a group with pitchforks and cancel someone just because they hurt your feelings or they don't agree with you.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second.
You just look so intent. I was like,
thought you were gonna say something.
Well, there was like
this-
sports talk going on, and I'm like, I have no clue who these people are.
I just like had this
Like, I
intense
don't know
thought
who
to share.
I don't even know who Kaepernick is or whatever his name is. I'm just like, what is
Quarterback.
You see,
Quarterback.
you now
Wasn't
feel,
quarterback.
Sierra,
That?
like
I don't know who that is.
Sierra, you now feel like how I feel when you call me historic,
I'm over here
and
like,
you
what
make
did he
these
do?
references. When you make these references to all these TikTokers, and I'm like standing here, I'm just staring at you. I'm
I
like,
got
yeah.
YouTubers for days that got canceled. I got TikTokers for days that got canceled.
You know, in my brain, cancel culture makes me think of like that opening scene from that old school cartoon, which I'm sure hasn't been. I'm surprised that's been canceled yet. Which the Beauty and the Beast movie. Remember, like when they were like going after the beast and they had like all the pitchforks, like.
Oh
like,
yeah, PETA. What is it, PETA?
PETA did try to
got
cancel.
so mad about it.
They did try to cancel that.
PETA, honestly, is probably one of the worst organizations to ever exist.
I agree.
The only PETA I like is the bread. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like.
And even still, it's okay bread. It's not even.
I don't know what it is. I'm obsessed with the pita bread. I don't know why. I just love
It
pita
hurts your
bread.
teeth after a while.
Not a
It's
PETA.
kind of hard to chew.
Not a PETA guy. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be one of the. How have we not canceled PETA?
They tried.
Because-
They tried multiple times, and then
No, PETA tries to cancel others.
And then, well, people have tried to cancel PETA, but for some reason they're always able to pull it back.
They're a big organization.
Well, I had Sierra going on Sunday because I look at Sierra because Sierra and I were talking about last week's episode, and I was like, yeah, you know, it was supposed to be very simple. It was supposed to be a very simple topic, and I said, I don't know what happened. I mean, I got a little overly passionate about some things, and now, you know. And she's like, you gotta watch out. We're gonna get
We're
canceled.
gonna get us canceled.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna pull
And I'm
Will
like-
and I
I'm
down
like,
with you.
But who does that? And she looked at me like I had like 4 heads. I'm like, who's the cancel police? Like how does
The
one get
people.
canceled? Like am I gonna show up one day to their podcast and they're gonna be canceled? Like there's gonna be like a sticker on the door, and she's
The
like
people
laughing.
who think that their morals are better than other people's morals. That's basically what happens.
We should cancel those people. That's what should happen.
It's like, these are my morals, I'm right, you think the opposite, you're wrong, canceled.
I'm gonna start an anti-cancel brigade. Like we should anti-cancel. Like,
Cancel the cancelers.
We're gonna cancel the
Full
cancelers.
circle.
It's been going for a long time.
We're gonna have a cancel militia. Like.
I mean, I think when cancel culture started getting dangerous, and we saw it a lot with celebrities and YouTubers, is when they went into the past and picked out something that was maybe a tweet, and the whole thing like Twitter from 2014.
When they weren't even in the limelight.
Right.
Like, why
And
does
using
it matter?
And that's what I think is dangerous. So say there's a situation, say Sierra said something wild back in 2012 on Twitter, right? It might have been.
Sierra was pretty wild back in 2012, so
Yeah.
she probably did say something.
It might-
9 years old.
The
Probably.
situation could have been rectified, right? Whatever, she might have had a job at 9 years old. You're an entrepreneur, good job, and maybe she got fired, or maybe she did her dues with whatever she said, whatever she did. And I'll fast forward to 2023. I go on the internet. I find her tweet from 2012 when she's 9 years old, and Sierra's a totally different person. Time has gone by. She's made her apologies, and I go, look what Sierra said back then. She's X, Y, and Z, and now I try to cancel her, and it works because now I'm the mob, and I get all these people riled up, and now the person that she is today, her character is now diminished and destroyed. Now she's losing her job. She's losing friends and family, or if she's accused of a crime, she's losing everything over something that happened in the past. And she might be a completely different person. She might have apologized. But we saw that happen a lot. It happened with Kevin Hart.
I was just thinking about the same thing.
That was a
Actually,
big
I
one.
caught that on. I was watching Gabriel Iglesias' latest Netflix special, and he brought that up where Kevin Hart was invited to be the host for the Miss America pageant, Did you hear about that?
It was that one. I think they happened twice. It was the pageant, and I think he was going to host one of the award shows.
Yeah, and then they invited him to come host it. I guess what was it, like 10 or 15 years ago? He had done something, and he had already apologized though for it. He apologized for it like 15 years ago. So they wanted him to come host, and then when he was when he came to them, this all came back to light. Someone of course went and dug it all up. And now Kevin Hart is hilarious, and the man is a pretty cool dude. He's anybody who knows this guy, he actually just had dinner about a month ago at the District in downtown Providence.
Really?
Nice little small hole in the wall in downtown. So he had a sold out performance at the now they call it the Amica Pavilion here.
Or Civic.
Or the Amp Center. They're trying to make it cool. But he sold out show there. But he came, very humble dude, comes to the District, which is a small little restaurant. Probably has about like 15 tables inside of it. One of my favorite places to eat. Goes in there, he's taking pictures with everybody. Like he's supposed to be like a really chill dude. Like so they call him in front of him, and they're like, we'd love to have you host, Mr. Hart, but in order for you to host, you're gonna have to apologize again. And he's like, wait a second, but I already apologized. I made public apologies. Like I'm not gonna apologize again for something I've already apologized for. So I mean, like it's ridiculous. I mean, like
people like stirring. Sorry.
There you go. Go ahead.
It's like the internet is too quiet for a while, so they're like, it's boring. We have to. Someone will pull out a DM from out of nowhere. Like, look what this person said in like 2015. Like, I'm gonna post it now just because it's too quiet. Like,
just like to stick on the Kevin Hart, so I don't bring it up again later. If you follow Kevin Hart, from the time he made that original comments, he's grown as a person. He's grown as a comedian. He's had children. I think he might have been divorced once by then, but his life has changed completely.
He's a whole different man.
He's a whole different man.
He's not the same person he was.
So, and then because of that, mistake he made in the past, 10, 15 years in the past, he's being dragged back. It's like, all right, well, if you don't apologize again, and good for him, he stood his ground. He's like, well, I'm not gonna be, the interest play thing. I already made my dues. Already made my apologies. Already, buried the hatchet with who I had to. I'm not gonna do it all over again because a new wave of people who weren't even around when that happened feel like their feelings are hurt in a situation that have no clue what happened.
Lord knows the man doesn't need the money from it either. I mean, but good for him. Like, and here's the thing, like, could you imagine if you were still judged from like your lowest moment 10 years ago? Like come on, look, I'm 36 years old, and I mean, I've made a lot of stupid mistakes in my past. Like, but as people, that's how we grow. I mean, we learn. We are a sum of our past mistakes. And there's a song in the Christian world that has that, and it's one of my favorite lyrics because it's so true. Like we grow as humans is based on learning from our previous experiences. Like we're some of our past mistakes. Like that's how we learn. Like when a baby touches a hot stove, that's how the baby learns. Like, I shouldn't touch that. They only get burned like if it's a smart baby. I mean, just saying, there are some babies that take a few times touching that hot stove where they don't learn quite the first time. But like we learn this from past mistakes. Like most of my life experiences have taught me to bring me to the person I am today. So could you imagine like what kind of people are there that like you go back and you're digging up dirt from somebody from so long ago, and that's the problem I have with cancel culture. That's the problem I have not. Cancel culture is like this byproduct of like this whole generation of wokeness that we're trying to get into. Like I don't get it. Like it used to be a day where you move on. Like, all right, you mess up, you pay your dues. Like you eat your humble pie, and then that's it. But now we all have to be so sensitive to everything. Like we all have to be so sensitive to every little detail of every little offense, and it's not even done on purpose most of the time. It's just like everybody's gotten so woke that you walk on eggshells no matter what you do. And I know I've probably offended like 1,000 people just now in saying that whole thing, but skin has gotten very, 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 very thin.
It's even weird with the word woke, right? When it's been taken out of context and ran with. Woke was just basically a word, an urban word used basically for your conspiracy theorists, right? You see beyond what the veil. That's basically what wokeness was. All right, they're presenting you this, but you're the education to know what's going on in the back end. That's what woke was being, and now it's turned into a definition. I don't even know how to define what they think wokeness is.
Defining it now is let's be very sensitive so that we don't hurt anybody's feelings. I mean,
Right.
because you're right. In its purest form was to be like, don't be a sheep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
being woke was not to be like, that just I'm gonna follow blindly to I'm gonna have my eye. Being woke was to have your eyes. It's why it's called being woke. Have your eyes wide open so that you're not led blindly down this path of conformity
Right.
without being fully informed of what's going on.
And now it seems like it's you point out, oh, I'm woke, so he offended me. Oh, you see that? He's offended. Oh, he offended me too. Oh, you see that? She offended. He said that. Oh, keep your eyes open. It's like no, that's not what it was meant for. It's not to poke holes in everyone's words. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think it's all Sierra's fault.
It is your generation. It's your
I don't know.
generation.
You were just sitting in front of me, and you just looked like you didn't know how to be woke on this whole thing right there.
It is your generation.
It is. It's your
We're part of
generation.
the same generation.
Not in my eyes.
You're only you're not even a whole year older than me.
I'm in Will's generation.
No, you're not.
Yep.
No.
I think you missed Will's generation by a few years, no?
No, I like to identify as Will's
You
generation.
can do
Oh,
that.
you can do that now, right?
Don't
We can
say you
identify as
can't.
whatever we want.
Don't say you can't. You can.
Does that mean I can identify as your generation?
Yeah. I don't
wouldn't.
think you'd want to, but. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous where we've come to what we've come to become, what we've become as a society,
There we go.
and what makes everybody tick. It's like everybody gets a rise out of seeing somebody else fall. Why is that?
It's so wild because you don't know this person you're canceling, so why does it matter that much to you?
Yeah, people care so much. People want to see other people lose.
This is a person that put themselves in the middle of everything, in the limelight, with fame, fortune, whatever. They're gonna make mistakes. Why does it matter so much to you to let them do it? Who cares?
I mean, Tiger Woods banged a bunch of broads and
No.
just, lost everything for a long time after dedicating his entire life to becoming an insane golfer. Some people go out and do exactly what he was doing and they're praised for it. But because he's in a position where he's making money and he's doing well for himself, everybody else doesn't want to see him win because it's a jealousy thing, it's whatever. So he goes out, he does that. Obviously not the right thing he messed up. But to lose his career for a short time, actually it was a pretty long time, he didn't have anything.
And yeah, I think his career went down the tubes after that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he really hasn't come back from it since. I mean, let's be honest. Even now, as a golfer, he's
Yeah, I mean, and that's after surgeries and the car accident and then that whole thing when he almost, or did kill that family or whatever. But, yeah. It happened. But, I'm not talking about that part of it. But, other people do it, and if they're not in such a high position as him, it's fine. But if you're in a high position, you can't do it.
Plays golf. Why is he killing people?
No, it was a car
He
accident.
just plays golf.
He was drunk driving.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's real sad. I mean, I think there's things that happen in society that people do need to take accountability for. And I think people blur the lines of what people should be held accountable for and what should just be a learning situation. Because at first it was a lot of it came kind of with, I want to say around the Me Too movement, where all right, these directors and these big actors were now being accused of heinous acts towards women and sometimes men. And so it was a big thing. All right, we got to get these guys fired. I agree. If they're doing things wrong, they should take responsibility. And if that means they getting fired from their job, it means getting fired from the job. Now it's trickled down to, if you have an opinion I don't agree with, I think you should lose your job and everything you have.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned before. It comes down to opinions and preferences. The LGBTQ community is a big one. If you don't say you're with them, you're against them, you should be canceled.
Well, and it becomes automatic because it's when did we get to a time where if you're not with me, you're automatically against me? When did we lose that middle place where if you're not with me, you're just not with me? Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm automatically against you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this just about I'm not saying this about the LGBTQ population, but there's a lot of issues that I just don't care about. Just because I don't agree with the issue that you're stomping the drum for, it doesn't mean I take a position one way or the other. Sometimes I just don't care. I just legitimately don't care. You don't agree with me? No, I just don't care. I can't simply just take a position on every little thing. And it's funny because you might be listening to the program and you're a believer like us, and it's like, Josh, what does this have to do with the church? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with the church. Honestly, a lot of this wokeness and cancel culture stuff has seeped its way into the church. I mean, we find ourselves trying to tread this middle ground, even from the pulpit, and if you listen to me and you're one of those pastors that is trying to do all that tickling stuff, where you're tickling the ears of your congregation, trying to be sensitive to the gospel. I mean, I say this week after week. I mean, the gospel hasn't changed. Sin is sin. Hell is hot. You either accept Jesus Christ or you don't. There's no middle ground. I mean, Proverbs chapter 4 verse 26 shares some of that with us. I mean, cancel culture is rash. There's a little concern for due process, and it's in its place. And in its place are immediate outrage and snap judgments. Fueling the controversy is partial, often biased information. The Bible commands to give careful thought to the paths of your feet. That's what Proverbs 4:26 says. I mean, as believers, we shouldn't be so quick to be jumping on these bandwagons. I mean, and it's funny because even in the church, we're fueled by this cancel culture mentality. We get so quick to start taking sides, and we're supposed to be in the world but not of it. We're supposed to be a chosen people. We're supposed to be different, and it's we're so quick to get into these different wokeness things. We soften things up. I don't know. Cece, you got a bunch of stuff. What do you got with us today?
Most of the stuff I got is, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, how I love celebrity drama. Live for it. That's most of my cancel culture. It's mostly just celebrities.
It's the worst.
Love it. Live for it.
But you know what? Unfortunately, Dom, they're the worst culprits, because unfortunately these celebrities, they're no longer just paid to be actors and actresses. Somehow they have the position to we take them as gospel.
What is the difference?
All of a sudden they're the authority and everything.
What's the difference between me having so much drama on celebrities and you having so much on sports people, whatever it's
I
called?
don't have drama on sports people.
You
I just talk about sports.
Sports
three
is
different
cool,
sports people that have been
celebrities
canceled.
aren't.
Tiger Woods, Kaepernick. I mean, the Sharks guy's more recent, but these are all old stories. What irks me about the celebrity thing is again, why do I care? There's so many celebrities. It's a little different in the world of sports because it's so finite. I get it, but also it's they're the cause of their own thing.
That's true.
They're doing this to themselves.
A little more recent. Can't remember his name. Percy something. The guy from Wednesday.
The gay? No, he's not gay.
Can't remember his name.
The blind guy?
Xavier. He got canceled. Apparently he threw a bunch of parties when he was in high school and sexually assaulted a bunch of people. Where did that come from?
But that was long before Wednesday, wasn't it?
Exactly, and that's the thing. It happened before he was famous. Why are we canceling people about it?
I got a sports one that parallels
Of
this.
course he does.
Sorry, Matt Ariza, the punter for the Bills.
Yes. Oh yeah.
This falls into Will's Me Too and your thing as well. Nobody even knew who this guy was. Just a punter, the least important position on any NFL team for the Bills. And then one day, some woman was like, he raped me and 7 of my friends at some party.
Whoa!
And then he gets cut, huge thing, yada yada. It's been a year now. A couple months ago, on my phone, whatever, get an ESPN notification. The whole thing was a lie. She lied about the entire thing.
So she ruined this guy's life.
Well, now he's being scouted by the Jets or something.
Yeah, but he lost. But
Yeah.
but let's be honest. But during that whole interim of time,
Done.
he was done. I mean, and you know, there's a saying where the bad news always catches the front page, but the retraction never makes the front page. The retraction is always in the back of the newspaper.
Well, that's the same thing what's going on with, I think his name is Percy White. I could be wrong about his last name. I think
he's a blind guy.
he's the blonde guy. He's the guy. He's
all I
the
know.
artist from Wednesday that his image is
okay.
come to life.
Definitely.
He's that dude. He
was one that was falsely accused of being the monster guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
oh,
what
man, so he's
happened
falsely
was
accused. Oh,
him
yeah.
and a bunch of his high school friends got accused of throwing parties in which he would get women high or drunk and then continue to sexually assault them. I don't even know where this came from. I just It was in January of 23 where I just like opened Twitter. Everything happens on Twitter. You find out
I do love
everything
Twitter.
from Twitter.
Yep.
I opened Twitter and like hashtag cancel Percy is on the front page. And I was like, what is this?
But has it been proven to be actual?
No, like it hasn't been proven right or wrong. Everyone's just like petitioning to get him canceled off of season 2.
And that's the thing that's tough is he might have done those crimes. Allegedly. I don't know him. I was not there. But until he's convicted of a crime, the cancel culture is like the middleman that ruins people's lives. Like if he got caught, if he's convicted, then yes, you fire him, you take away any opportunities or whatever. But until then, he should not lose any opportunity. But these companies know if they still work with him, then he eventually is found guilty. Now, except for the actor being canceled, the movies or the show is going to be
canceled. The show is not going to be as good without his character.
Because he was a lead role. But here's the thing. Here's my problem. As a constitutionalist that I am, what happened to the founding principle in this country that you're innocent until proven guilty? And this goes back
the court of law, not the court of public opinion.
Right, but when you bring the court of public opinion to it, how does that not leak? Look, we're supposed to be judged by a jury of our peers. Well, guess what? In these days, our peers all have these devices called cell phones that they're seeing the court of public opinion. So if you're telling me that the court of public opinion isn't like leaking into the court of law, how are you getting a fair shake when it gets to that point? And here's the other thing, going back to my previous point. As believers, right, as Christians, we're supposed to have some kind of common sense, some kind of spiritual morality, right? Irrational thinking and mob mentality don't really have a place in our lives. In Titus chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "And we are instructed to turn from godless living and sinful pleasures. We should live in this evil world with wisdom, righteousness, and devotion to God." Why am I saying this? Us giving into this stuff without having like actual foundation for having proof behind like all this cancel culture stuff. We're part of like destroying people's lives. Like that's not cool. Like that's messed up.
It's not only destroying like the source's life either. Like don't want to like keep beating a dead horse, but with the Percy guy, right? It's also like now people are getting mad at Jenna Ortega because she's still friends with him. Mm-hmm. She didn't obviously drop him just because the allegations happened.
I respect her for that.
And they're really
close. I really respect her for that.
So I remember like a video surfaced. They were at like a birthday party and they saw that they were together at the party, and now everyone's like, Jenna Ortega is just as bad because she's still friends with him. Like, why is it her problem too?
If he's not convicted of anything, what is she supposed to do? Like, all right, well, you're allegedly something you did back in high school is popping up, so I'm just not going to talk to you. Let me know if you're a real criminal or not, then maybe we'll go out for lunch.
She's like, people are calling her like the it actress. Like, she's going to be in Beetlejuice 2. She was just in Scream.
Right.
It's because everybody loves her, and that's that. But she's one of those people who can't be canceled. Everybody will back her. But also, people try, but it's just not...
People are trying now. Video just surfaced
of
the
the
first
cigarette.
smoking cigarettes, and everyone's on about it. Like, why do you care? It's
like
not
one of the
your
most
fault.
common things in the world, right?
Yeah, like people do this.
I get it a little bit
Not at all.
because she started... Oh, no, I'm not saying she should be canceled for smoking cigarettes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I get why people are angry because she started as a Disney Channel actress, right? She got out...
So she should be doing meth instead?
No.
So did Demi Lovato.
She got out really early. She has a bunch of children watching her still. Like...
So did Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato was still doing heroin.
And people were mad at Demi Lovato.
So did Lindsay Lohan, and she loved doing crack.
So I'm not saying I'm canceling Jenna Ortega. I personally love her. I think she's great. I'm saying like I understand why people are upset because little kids look up to her and stuff, but also it's none of their business.
But my thing is, unless she went out and said, "Hey, I'm going to be the role model for kids around the world," it's not her fault that kids look up to her. I understand that she's an actress and that she's like a celebrity.
She did one show on Disney Channel that lasted like 2 seasons.
But my thing, because the same thing with, I don't want to go back to athletes, I know you hate athletes, but it's the same thing with like...
I just don't understand. But
with like athletes or people who like have a following, unless their purpose was to be a role model, they're just doing what they're good at. She's a good actress, she got a break, but she's human. at the end of the day.
It's something where you need to teach your kids, don't look up to this person. Just like, no, you can look up to this person, just know you shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Like, teach your kids not to smoke cigarettes. Don't teach your kids not to look up to
But
them.
when did it go from
That's
being
the
a job to being like this is the problem, and I like it just makes me so crazy. I get irate about this because it's like, all right, they're actors and actresses. It is their job to fulfill a role on screen. It is not their job to be like our life's like gurus about like politics and positions on global warming, and like they literally they get paid to play a role. Like athletes get
That's not a
paid
new
to
thing,
play
though.
a sport.
No, but it's still
when did it become like, you know, when did it become that these people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not calling them stupid or uneducated or anything like that. Yeah, they have the right to have their opinions. But when did it become the place of these people to adopt that position where we look to them for where we should go on all these different things? Like, they get paid to do a job.
It's
I get paid to
not.
do a job. It's not my job to like, you're listening to this podcast? Yeah, I have an opinion. You want to ask me my opinion on things? I'll give it to you. But it's not my job to tell you what you should think or how you should live.
That is not a new thing, though. You see that for decades. Before it was more so like people got their opinions from writers, and like, I hate him, but like people looked up to Shakespeare a lot and took what he said to heart, and he talked about people stabbing themselves in the chest for love. Like, people looked up to that. But it just happened that now with more modern
social media.
things, it's
Yeah.
And how has he not been
easier.
canceled?
Shakespeare.
I think they actually tried to cancel
They did try.
Shakespeare.
They
You
didn't succeed.
can't cancel somebody if they're dead.
That's
Who-
not
Well,
true.
well,
That's not true.
Who cares?
They
Who
tried to-
cares?
People
Who
can-
cares?
People canceled Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's my thing. They're dead. Who are we canceling? They don't exist anymore.
Didn't they just rewrite like?
Yes, a bunch of Dr. Seuss books, and they're canceling Roald Dahl.
Well, they canceled
Who
Dr.
cares?
Seuss because he was like allegedly a Nazi or something. Wasn't he?
No,
He was, like,
that's Roald Dahl. Dr. Seuss was a racist.
Oh,
Yes,
and he
yes,
had
he was
like
the
a
racist.
mistress while his wife was dying, and then like married.
Well, they
Her
did,
immediately.
I think we talked about this
Oops.
before. They did the same thing with Martin Luther King. They were like, oh, well, allegedly, which was not proven. I don't think his wife came out and actually admitted it or not. Oh, apparently Martin Luther King was cheating on his wife. So everything he did for the civil rights movement means nothing now because he might have cheated on his wife.
Cheating, it's awful. Shouldn't be done. It's not our business though.
It's not our business.
Like if someone cheats on another person, I don't know you. Why do I care?
Well, but you know, and that's where it gets a little tough because it's like, you know, the man that you can't separate the good the man did. I mean, it changes the respect you have if indeed the allegations are proved correct. But again, you're blemishing the man, like you're blemishing the man's reputation on something that's, you know, purely speculative at this time, unless true validation comes.
But
I
even
mean-
still, why does it matter?
I've
Still trying
always
to
had the
separate black
opinion
people.
if the person
crazy.
is dead, just let the dead
Let him
rest.
be dead.
Like,
They
just
tried
let
to
him be
cancel
dead.
John Wayne.
Like, why are we gonna like dig
What?
up?
It's a real thing.
Do you know who John Wayne is? Do we?
Are
Are we back to this?
But no, I mean,
Isn't that the clown?
No.
that's John Wayne
come on.
Gacy.
Oh man.
That's John Wayne Gacy.
Like I was like, I hope they tried to
Now,
cancel him.
this
What?
is what-
They
gonna get you
canceled, they
canceled.
canceled his
Who's
ability
John
to live.
Wayne?
That's what they did to Gacy.
Oh.
Who's John Wayne?
It's not important.
It is
it's okay.
important.
We'll have a meeting after.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
Google
talk
it right
later.
now.
But it's just like it's a
Live reaction.
to get you quick. Somebody died, tried to cancel them. They're dead. Doesn't matter.
I think the problem is that as people, and I get it because we get attached to people. So when we get attached to people who we don't know, and we create this image because all we see is what they present us, and then they do something that betrays our perfect image of them, we get very offended very quickly. So like the Jenna Ortega thing, they look at that, she is the Disney Channel girl, she is Wednesday from the show Wednesday, she is this angel, but now she's smoking cigarettes and she's friends with the alleged guy who might have done something to children in high school. That's not the image I have of Jenna Ortega. And now we feel personally offended because this person who we thought was one thing is now something else. That's why they tell you never meet your heroes, right? Because you have this image of your perfect, actor, actress, sports person, whatever, and you find out they're not that,
But you know
and
what?
now you're angry.
Going back to that, I respect her for being his friend until, like, now, look. Now, if it's proven that he actually did the things, and if he gets, like, you know, actually, like, you know, convicted of it or whatever, that's different. You know, then I want it, but that's the mark of true friendship. Like, I stick with my friends until I find out that they actually did something wrong.
And so far, there is no proof. I did
Right.
a little bit of research on this a moment ago, and there's been a lot of people saying that they knew him. A lot of people posting pictures of like yearbooks, like they went to the same school, but they're accusing him of sending pictures and things to group chats and all this, and soliciting photos of minors and things of that nature. All these conversations that must have happened, all this and that. Zero proof of anything. There's no
Also,
screenshots going around, just pictures of him in a yearbook.
if he did this, it's a terrible thing that happened, right? But also, why can't he be forgiven?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's tough.
Like, I get it's tough
Supposedly-
but if
supposedly-
he's genuinely sorry,
Nah.
genuinely realizes what he did was crappy, even like he should maybe even like apologize to the victims that he did it to, like, why can't she continue to be friends with him?
I think that's a
Oh well,
deeper
I think he could.
philosophical
I think
question.
she could continue to be friends with him, but I don't think that if all of this is proven correct, he should have.
Oh, I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished.
Because the thing is, he's 21 years old. This article I read, whatever happened between the ages when he was 17 to 20. So this ended recently.
Right. I mean, he's not past the
He's
statute of limitations.
he's not a 50-year-old guy getting
Yeah.
accused of doing something when he was 15.
Right.
He's a 21-year-old dude getting accused of
I
doing
mean, there has to be a
something
there has to be a consequence.
Right.
If
Yeah, no, I'm
there
not
has to be a
saying-
consequence. I agree with you. Like,
I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished. I'm saying
Right.
why
But
why does he need to lose everyone in his life because this
right. I mean,
happened?
the Bible teaches over and over again about forgiveness, but the Bible also teaches about being just. I mean, yeah, you can forgive the guy, but there has to be a consequence for his actions. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, and
Like, obviously, if this is true, he's gonna get fined. He might even get some jail time.
oh no, if this is true, there's definitely some jail time.
You're definitely gonna get some jail time.
There's no slap on the wrist for that, and honestly, and he deserves it. I mean, he would deserve if there's evidence and victims come forward and it's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt, and a jury of his peers come and say, then yes, he deserves everything that's coming to him. Does it mean he should be shunned from society?
I don't understand.
I don't think so. I think that he could be like legitimately, you know, sad by it and ask for genuine forgiveness, you know. Not one of those like fake forgiveness, like I'm sorry just to try to seem like a nice guy, but like if he's genuinely asking for forgiveness, I believe that, you know, everybody deserves forgiveness. But, you know, I
mean, we let Roseanne back into society. She didn't rape anybody, but like,
she was super racist.
yeah, we let OJ back in. He killed somebody.
If he did it.
But
we are
the
all
glove did
willing
not
to let.
fit.
We're all willing to let Bill Cosby back in if
He's
everyone
going
wants
on
to.
tour.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's not confirmed yet.
I'm not willing to back in.
It's America's dad right there.
No,
Yeah, he is.
My thing is like
He is.
he shouldn't be.
But he still is. Am I wrong in saying that?
he was America's dad.
I mean, they tried to cancel Donald Trump, and even he's trying to come back in.
I mean,
Hate.
I honestly, everybody's done so much worse things than him. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but that doesn't mean he
They're
didn't
giving the
do
Oompa
bad
Loompas a
things.
voice.
I mean, we still love Bill Clinton.
True.
But he
And
never
I
inhaled.
don't.
He never inhaled.
He was way worse. He did way worse things than anything.
I mean, come
Donald
on,
did.
man. Monica Lewinsky, while he was president. I mean, come on.
While he was married.
While he was married.
And there were plenty more than just her. So like, we're gonna. And I'm not a huge Trump guy. I'm not a politics guy. I got opinions, but that's not what this is for. But like, if we're gonna cancel the Orange Man, we gotta cancel the
Orange Man.
gray-haired man that didn't have relations with that woman.
And everyone in between. The thing is that it's never going to be given out equal because it's whatever people make the most noise about.
Yeah.
And the court of public opinion doesn't have due process, right? There's no judge and jury. There's no, get the prosecutors and the defense and gather your evidence. No, it's like, all right, you say, I saw on Twitter that this person did that. I think they should be punished by A, B, and C. I think they should get that now. Who agrees? And thousands of people on Twitter, yeah, I agree. And now all of a sudden, the pressure is being put on to Hollywood or
The
to
major corporations.
or to the corporations.
The brands.
Okay, well, we have 1,000 people who normally would give us money. We don't want this out of control. All right, you're canceled. Sorry.
See, my biggest problem with Twitter is that their logo's a bird, and I have extreme phobias of birds.
I
So
love Twitter.
every time I open the app, it scares me.
I don't even
Yeah.
use Twitter that often. I just like lurking on
It's
Twitter.
fine.
I'm always on
The
Twitter.
thing about Twitter is it requires too many words. Like, you know,
It's actually less words than
Yeah,
most things.
you're limited words.
is it? No, I don't know.
It's always been.
It's 280.
I go on
Yeah,
I
it's
go on
always been
Twitter
short.
I go on Twitter on election season just so I can be part of like the debates, and that's about
I
it.
think Twitter was originally 140, and then
Yeah, it was
they bumped it
originally.
up to 280.
I use the Facebook because
I'm a woman of a lot of words. Twitter
Fa-
ain't for me.
Facebook is stupid.
Facebook is where you get the people really trying to cancel people on.
Facebook is old people Twitter.
I use Facebook to upload the family I don't often see about my life.
see, I use the Facebook because it lets me when I upload to the Facebook, it lets me upload at the same time to the Instagram. So I do two at the same
The
time.
world deserves to see my child. That's what I use Facebook for.
Although apparently now there's an application that I could use where I can upload to one thing and it puts it to all of the things.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
like an
an
it's like a it's like an RSS
Like
almost.
an app?
Like an app.
Did you say application?
Yeah, that's what it's called. That's what
Why
app stands
did
for.
you,
An
why did you use the
application.
full
Because
word?
he's
I don't know.
historic and back in
Because
the
apparently
day,
that
according to
really
you,
shows.
3 weeks ago you told me that I was historic, so I was
Well,
before 1999.
It shows now because you just said application.
That's not historic. Technically, actually, you do. I think you count as an antique.
Well,
Yeah.
Dominic clearly didn't listen to the episode.
No, but I think technically you do count
But
as
you
an
know what?
antique.
You know what I find hurtful about that episode? Okay, and this is who should really be canceled: is American Girl doll, because not only do they make me historic.
They were canceled over this.
Oh.
They came back though.
Over
Clearly they.
what?
Well,
They
they
put
made
out
a
a
1999 doll.
They put out a line of dolls from 1999 to like I think the 80s, and they labeled them historical
But here's why they should be canceled. Not
What's wrong
because
with
they made, no.
because they called a bunch of people
Oh.
of that age historical.
I'm not even
Well,
mad about
they're-
that. What I'm
it's
mad
history.
about is that they didn't make. They won't make a boy doll.
History of the
All
company.
right.
That's the thing, though. This is historical to the company.
Right, but Dom, here's my problem with that. It's not even that they made a historic doll. It's that if I wanted to get a historic doll for me, all right, they don't make boy dolls. It's only girl dolls.
Because
So
it's
like,
American
well, it's the
Girl
company.
dolls.
but you know what? I don't feel included.
To
All
be
right.
fair, that's why.
Cancel them again.
To be fair,
Cancel
that's
them
why I
again.
haven't gone to that Yas Chicken place in Providence.
Why?
There's no men's bathroom,
No, there's not. There's a women's bathroom, and then
and
there's
then there's a non-binary bathroom or whatever.
Guys,
So I won't go.
I went.
What if I gotta piss? Where do I go?
The chicken's so good though.
Don't.
Guys,
Just
I
don't
went
have
to a
to go
show.
bathroom.
I went to a show a few weeks ago with. Actually, this was with your parents.
Beetlejuice. I'm so mad.
Let's
you
do the
picked that
Beetlejuice.
instead of
And
me.
you went to go see Beetlejuice.
I
And
went
they
to the
came and they
Beetlejuice.
just dissed it the entire time.
Oh, it was not great.
It's
but
so good.
Well, then I'm happy.
But I went to the Beetlejuice. So I asked. So I'm walking to the back. I'm walking to the restroom, and again they have a ladies' room. So I look, and this lady got so mad at me. So I made it a point to make a scene. And Nancy did not. Nancy was not having this. I made a scene. So I go to the restroom, and I look. I see the ladies' room now. I had these women laughing hysterically, and then I see across from the ladies' room was a non-gender specific restroom. So I asked the lady. I says, "Where's the men's room?" She goes, "Well, clearly you have to use the gender neutral restroom." So I looked at her and I go, "Well, clearly I would like to feel included in this group of people, and I would like a men's room." I said, "You have a ladies' room, and there's a gender neutral room." I said, "Where's the men's room? What if I want to use a urinal?" And the lady,
I know.
and the lady, so the lady that worked there got really mad at me. She goes, "That's the restroom for you, sir." I says, "But you have a woman's room and you have a gender neutral room. Why is there no men's room?"
Why
I
are
said,
we
"I'm just
getting rid of
asking.
men?
I'm just."
I know. All these dumb people trying to say things like cancel men.
I don't
We hate
understand
men.
why we're getting
I'm
rid
What
of
happens when the world ends because there's no more repopulation of a person?
I'm
Well,
just
they
saying.
say that they're gonna make test tube babies.
So my
Can't
question.
make test tube babies without.
They say they can.
They can't.
They're
So
saying,
my-
but they're saying they can.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not,
come out-
I'm not saying
They come out looking like this with extra arms.
I'm not
You
saying
can't
they
do it.
So my
No.
question becomes: have men been canceled?
Yes.
Like,
oh,
for
yeah.
a while ago.
Yeah.
The new wave of feminists have canceled men.
although I have to say,
But
there
school
was.
those type of feminists.
Yeah, they're-
That's where the whole not all men thing comes from.
Oh, so I'm just saying. So I did have a line. So apparently for the women's room, there was a long line of women waiting for the women's room. Apparently they also did not want to use the gender neutral restroom. So,
Why? I'll go pee in a
I
guy's
don't know.
room. I don't care.
but I mean, so they were laughing hysterically, and one of the ladies looked at me. She gave me a thumbs up, and she's like, "Yeah, where's the men's room?" I said, "I don't know, but apparently I gotta go use the gender." Because at that point, I just really had to go to the
Because
bathroom.
gender neutral is a choice that they're making. So like it's a gender.
I'm not neutral.
So you're saying
I'm on the side.
if I'm saying I'm not gender neutral and I'm not a woman, I identify as a man, I should have a men's bathroom.
Yes.
To be fair, I will say this. To be fair, the gender neutral bathrooms, because there were two of them, was just literally it was just basically the family bathroom. So it was a room with one toilet, one sink, and the door locked. So I mean,
Cool, it's a family bathroom.
right. I mean, I would have taken it better if they just called it the family restaurant.
Why do we gotta
think, though,
overcomplicate things?
Speaking of bathrooms, I think men's bathrooms should have changing tables in them.
They
Well,
should.
a lot of them
Some
do.
of- a lot of them
most
do.
of them do.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to the right place.
it was a
So if
thing
Justin's
before,
telling me they do not, it's because Justin does not want to change the diaper.
Probably.
for just the baby.
Chick-fil-A bathroom has one.
To be fair, we don't often go.
Yeah.
Almost
I-
every one of them has
I
them.
do feel like that's a newer thing because I know that was a big thing. I want to say maybe 5 or so
Yeah.
years ago.
What happened-
Well, maybe
what
if people
happens
have a
when
more
single
renovated
dads happen?
area. Then
They didn't believe single dads existed,
Listen,
and
my
they
kids-
don't take care of their kids.
My kids are 10 and 12 years old. I mean, even when my kids were babies, most of the bathrooms I went to had changing tables.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
So like I said, if
I didn't like to.
if Justin
I'm
is
gonna start
telling
checking.
you, if Justin is
You
telling
should
you that
start
they don't have changing tables, and I'm calling you out, Justin, if you're listening to the
Show me.
podcast,
Show me.
that means Justin's just trying to tell you he doesn't want to change the baby's
Yeah, he's
diaper.
ducking
He's ducking his fatherly duties. We digress. But in any case, yeah, this cancel culture thing is getting crazy. Now, why is this something we're sharing on the podcast? A, because it's irate, and I didn't really understand it because I really thought there was like cancel police. Like I'm like, what? Like you're gonna get
Basically.
canceled?
There basically is.
It's just a mob mentality.
It's a bunch of like 12 to 13-year-olds.
That is true. And most of them are not adults.
Like actual 12 to 13-year-olds?
Yes.
Most
like,
of them
or like
are
people who act their
children.
shoe sizes that are, like
No.
that
Shoe
that
size
thing.
definitely
Most
is.
Act their
of
age
them
and
are
shoe size?
children that think they know stuff about the world.
Well, here's my advice to those of you who are listening to the program. As believers, there's a few things that we have as a church that we need to be careful with in terms of this cancel culture mentality. First and foremost, cancel culture is rash. Like I said, Proverbs 4:26 tells us that we need to give careful thought to the paths of our feet. Titus 2:12 says that we need to live sensibly. Cancel culture is spiteful. The Bible teaches us in Luke chapter 6:27 and 28 to do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. That's kind of the opposite of cancel culture, because in cancel culture we're literally going after those very people, right? Our speech should be gracious and attractive, is what it says in Colossians chapter 4 verse 6. Cancel culture is judgmental. I mean, throughout all of Scripture it teaches us, and throughout the New Testament, throughout the Gospel, to be enforcers of being acceptable speech. I mean, in Matthew 7:1, it teaches us to be not to be self-righteous or judging. Hypocrisy or a fault-finding, hypocritical spirit has no place in Christian life. Cancel culture is unforgiving, and this is kind of what we were just talking about. Past instances of inappropriate or hurtful speech or actions, no matter how long ago, are not forgiven in cancel culture. Once a person is canceled, there is no way to restore that person to the good graces of society. There is no grace. There is no chance of redemption. Rehabilitation and restoration are not the goal, and neither is learning from one's mistakes. The goal is to smear, defame, or malign. But the Bible points to repentance and commands us to forgive one another. Make allowances for each other's faults, to forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. It says that in Colossians 3:13. An unforgiving, loveless attitude has no place in a Christian's life. You see, in the midst of cancel culture, we must use our words wisely. Believers are to pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, and gentleness, like it says in 1 Timothy 6:11. We are to speak truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, like it says in Ephesians 4:15. And we must continue to reject hatred and love others, even our enemies, like it says in 1 John 4:7 and Matthew 5:43 through 48. Cancel culture views people with whom a plurality of people disagree as undeemable and worthy of spite. Christian culture sees no one as undeemable. Repentance and change are always possible, and forgiveness is available. Christian culture sees no one as an object of spite. God's love is always available. There's no lost causes. I mean, cancel culture is kind of contrary to the way we should all live, and that's, I think, why it gets a lot of us so irate. I mean, we're basically taking like no information, or we're taking like public opinion, and we're just jumping on a bandwagon. And if there's anything I think I hate most, it's bandwagon jumpers. Like we see that. I'm sorry in advance, Sierra, because we're going to jump back into sports for just a second. But as someone who was born in the '80s, before all of our Boston teams were any good, all right, I'm an OG Patriots fan. Like before we had Tom Brady, back in the days of Drew Bledsoe when we really sucked, right? I'm an old school Boston Red Sox fan, like before we won any championships when we were called the Scrubs. I'm an old school Boston Celtics fan from the days of Paul Pierce when he was the only good player we had and we had no chance at a championship. I'm an old school Bruins fan. Well, they were always fairly decent, so I mean they were the only team that gave us a little bit of hope during that time. Back in those days, my friends were all like 49ers fans because they all like Jerry Rice, you know. My friends were all Chicago Bulls fans. It was all about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, But then what happens is we started winning. You remember that? So then Drew Bledsoe gets hurt, and this third stringer that gets called up called Tom Brady, and we started winning. All of a sudden, everybody's a Patriots fan. The Red Sox start winning World Series. Everyone's a Red Sox fan. And for me, I was never a bandwagon jumper, right? Even in trends, like I was never the kind of guy, like everybody wore Nikes, I'd buy Adidas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody got into the newest trend. I always like to be authentic. Now in society, this cancel culture thing is such a bandwagon thing. Like, you know what? This guy may have done this or may not have done this, but because public opinion says that he's guilty of it, we're just gonna hate on this dude because you know why? I want to be popular on social media. So the more I jump on this, the more I hashtag this, the more I throw these taglines on my post, the more viral my post is going to be, the more viral my video is going to be, the more viral my whatever is going to be, and maybe I can get monetized from it. Maybe I can become the next TikTok or whatever sensation because I'm hating on this guy and I'm jumping on this cancel culture stuff. And then what happens in the interim? We destroy somebody. Somebody is permanently destroyed because even when it gets proven to be false, they never get their full reputation back. I mean, in everyone's life, in every one of our lives, we've had that instance where we've been falsely accused, right? I mean, you can't deny it. We've all gone through it. Well, we've had like that moment where we've had people turn against us for the wrong reason, and then we've had to like prove our innocence. I mean, and that's on a small scale. Could you imagine when the whole world is coming up against you? Like, even on this podcast, we're not even a huge podcast yet. I mean, we're making some pretty good strides, but like my co-hosts will tell you, like I shield them from a lot of the I call it love letters, but some of the stupidity that people send in because we share our opinions on this program. Like, when did we get to a society where we have lost the freedom to share our free speech? When did protected speech only become protected for a select few or for the popular opinion? I mean, what's this world coming to, guys?
I think that there's a unforeseen consequence of cancel culture as well that people don't really talk about, and what it's going to do, it's going to affect the younger generation. And once I start saying this, I think some light bulbs are going to go off. But when you see a culture of where you have to tiptoe around things and you don't want to say the wrong things, you don't want to be unpopular, you see people kind of losing their individuality. And like, again, we bring it back to TikTok, but like it's a TikTok effect. One person makes a viral video, everyone makes a viral video because they know it's good. And if someone makes something that's bad, they don't touch it. So now, instead for having a bunch of people with different opinions, you have a mob generation who does the same thing, thinks the same thing, has the same sense of humor, dislikes the same things, even though they might closetly like that, but because their friends and social media says it's not cool, they don't like it. And I think that's something that's you're really going to see in the younger generation, and we'll see what the real consequences of that is but now we're having like a one mind mentality, and then if you don't agree with us, we're kicking you out. You're to the side of the road. You're kind of, because you see that with the Fortnite kids, right? Everyone's doing all the same dances. Everyone's doing the same gestures, and it's because everyone knows that's cool, and everyone wants to be cool, so they all do that. But as soon as you say, "Oh, I don't like Fortnite," well, you're not in that friend group anymore because you're not cool because you don't play Fortnite or whatever the case may be. And I think that's underlying thing that's happening with cancel culture that people aren't really talking about. So we're teaching the next generation that if they don't get with it, they're gonna be pushed to the side.
Well, Aiden does that now too. Like Aiden, every once in a while I catch him because my kids, I encourage them to be individuals. Haley, we have no problem with that, yo. Haley is a little too much of an individual sometimes. I gotta rein that in. But with Aiden, it's like he's always been that kid that's and he sometimes even the way he talks sometimes I'm like, why are you talking like that? And it comes from that whole he plays usually after when he's playing games with all his little friends, and he comes off the video games and you're right, they all start to sound like robots. Like it's like they've inceptioned his mind, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's social media trends and whatever, and things becoming cool, and everybody wants to do exactly what everybody else is doing. But I mean, that's always been a thing.
It's fads, right?
Yeah.
Like something
I just think it's
becomes
at such
popular.
a bigger scale because there's so much now access to the
Oh, this
internet.
platform.
Because there's always been like cliques. Like your friend group usually likes the same things. I'm sure there was, you get made fun of for liking, something that's a little off, but you're still friends. And I feel like it's been pushed to such an extreme. It's like, it's kind of like training the mind. Like you said, like, oh, well, when I'm with my friends, I talk this way. Now I talk this way outside of my friends because like this is what's cool. And dad's lame and mom's lame and big sister annoys me. So I don't care what they think. They're not gonna influence me. But my friends who do this one thing on a large scale, because it's either TikTok or Instagram or video games, that's kind of their personality that they're all building together on a larger scale.
It's just so crazy how far we've come too, because like not for nothing, like I'm fairly young, and even in my lifetime, like when I was a kid, the internet was still an up and coming thing, and this is gonna sound really old manish, but my dad was not willing to invest in said internet because we were on a budget, and my friend was a paper boy back when paper boys existed. So what they used to do for me is they used to have these CD-ROMs for free internet trials through like there was a company called Net Zero and Juno and stuff like that. You guys don't know nothing about what I'm talking about because this used to be when you have to do the internet through like the telephone line of the house. And so since we couldn't pay for internet, I used to have to use the free trials. So my friend would get me a disc every once in a while when I needed a new one from one of the spare newspapers, and I would get the internet for free for 3 months or whatever. And then when that would run out, and you guys, their eyes are glazing over because they're like, "What is this kid talking about?" Like, no, it didn't just happen like that. But the point that I'm getting to is like nowadays, and so talking about fads, like so my grandfather, my dad, I think saw that the internet was coming strong. My grandfather said, I'm not getting the internet. The internet's just a fad, it's like it's not going anywhere. But the internet was very limited back then. Like you'd be able to go on AIM, which was AOL Instant Messenger and stuff like that, to talk to your friends and stuff like that until mom or dad would pick up the phone, and once they started picking up the phone and hitting the buttons, you'd get kicked off the internet and stuff. But like we were very limited with our circle of influences online. You had to like hang out with your friends in real life, or IRL if that's still a thing that you guys use. But nowadays it's like the influence is just they're far. It's international. I mean, like it's a little far and wide. It's super easy. Like this cancel culture thing would have never made it back in like 1999 with us historical people and previous. Like because like it would have taken too long. Like first you'd have to wait for it to dial up. Then you'd have to wait to connect. Like just downloading a picture on Google.
I mean, it's not like you say this, but like Dominic and I aren't like that. Like we're young, obviously, but like growing up, I didn't have access to like my individualized internet. Like we still had the family computer that we had to take turns on. And, like I didn't get an actual like smartphone until I was like 13. Like it's not like I had. It's not like I had one when I was like 6. Like.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you were on internet, Like, say, what time would you say this is all going down? How old are you?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I was like actual real internet. I was in my late teens.
It's only like a 10-year difference between when I was on the internet.
A lot has happened.
I mean, I had a cool pager and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's not like Dominic and I was like walking around with our own individual iPads.
Well,
I mean, I had a Nook for a while. Like,
I
what
think
can
there's
you
a
do on
big
a
difference pre-social media internet and post-social media internet.
Yeah.
I'm
I
free
think-
social media.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this in general. I think that's when you
Like,
see a shift.
Dominic and I remember the times where it's be back at the house before the streetlights are on. Like, we remember that.
Because you guys
The
have
kids
great
younger
parents.
than us didn't. Like, yeah, we're the age where we understand the internet and we can navigate it pretty well, but
we grew up while it was evolving.
we still know
Right,
how to have a good
difference.
time without it. Like, we can sit at a dinner table without being glued
Yeah,
to an iPad or a
you're
phone.
not iPad kids.
And I'm trying so hard to not raise Ethan as an iPad
Well,
kid, but
but-
then he like won't shut up, and I have to stick Mickey Mouse in front of
But
him.
Will also makes a really good point. You guys also like you guys also had like really good parents with that too. Like your parents believe in like have always believed in having you guys like go outside and be part of the world. Also, you guys are part of what I call that transitional generation. Like, you know, my kids are part of the. I was born with all the technology already existing. And look, your kids will never understand what either of us are talking about, especially what I'm talking about. You know, like, and the generations even after us, like this cancel culture thing to them is going to be very much their norm. You know, like. You know, if when I was like your age, I would have never understood this at all. Like this would have never been a thing. Because when I was like even when I was my kids' age, like my kids talk about trouble and like dealing with people, like the bullying situations and all that in school. Like we dealt with things a lot different back then. Like it's not like now. Like this, you
Well,
know.
that's really what cancel culture is, right? It's just one giant group of bullies bullying people off the internet until they decide to come back. Like, and then it happens all over again. Like. That's really, in the end, what cancel culture is. It's just a bunch of preteen bullies that apparently have an impact on the world.
I think too, it's accessibility, because you can go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that can just shout out their opinion about what's going on. Back, when the tabloids were you're getting your information, unless you're going out there and boycotting whatever Lindsay Lohan or whatever Britney Spears was doing, you're just shaking your fist at the air, or you're yelling with your friends about how bad whatever celebrity was doing whatever. So they weren't getting canceled because we couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, you'd have to like blog about it. But
I
it
just
wasn't.
Yeah, no, and who cared about blogs?
I just don't understand why people can't dislike someone quietly. I dislike a lot of people, so
Because attention brings money.
I
nowadays.
dislike a lot of celebrities, a lot of TikTokers. I probably dislike a lot of sports people too if I followed it. Like, you don't see me tweeting like, "Oh, I hate this person, end their life. They did this, they did that." I dislike them silently. Like,
I feel like
care.
most of the beast really was unleashed during COVID. I think that during COVID, this is when, because pre-COVID, I feel like we still had like a productive way of getting our point across, and then I think COVID, everybody got locked in the house, and that's when this whole monstrosity really started with like the TikTok superstars and all the because before COVID it was much harder to not everybody became just YouTube famous or TikTok famous like.
Well, the problem is, as the years go by, the people that are gaining fame are getting younger, which honestly, in my opinion, kind of creepy. Why are these teenagers getting so popular?
Well, there was
Irrelevant.
There was an article last week. And I have to look it up. Maybe we'll talk about this in the next few weeks. But there was an article last week where I think it was Indiana. They're trying to pass a law because these young kids, to protect these young kids who are getting famous, something about their money, where they like something to try to prevent like the conservatorships, but like protecting the kids like with their money with like some kind of a trust or something like that. It was a cool article.
It's probably because like your parents can like technically claim
Right.
a portion of the kid's money.
It's the
if
Britney
you're-
Spears thing. It's that Ryan's toy review
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
it's because
But
of
it's
all
like-
this.
I hate going back to TikTok, but it's just so relevant. Like, the girl that got famous on TikTok literally for dancing?
Oh, I don't know.
Charlie D'Amelio.
A million of them?
That one. She was 15 when COVID started.
It's new.
Got so popular for a dance that she stole.
She was 15.
Yeah, she was mad.
She's like 18, 19 now.
And it's weirder too now because like when they get popular on social media, there's no regulation because it's different but kind of the same as the Disney kid, but at least there was like contracts and stuff involved.
But with this girl, she got canceled when she first started, like almost weeks into when she started blowing up because she had stolen this dance, and then people were like, canceled because you didn't credit a dance.
But
it's a dance.
That's what the whole app is. The whole app is stealing everybody else's ideas.
And then like she
it's so moronic.
And then watching it over and over again, because like you literally like you scroll the For You page and it's literally the same thing. Like that.
It's
why I don't even.
But then
moronic.
all it took for her to get forgiven was just to do the same dance that she stole with the creator of the dance.
Yeah.
Done.
It's so moronic.
Gone.
Dude.
Like,
I hate it so
what was
much.
even the point to begin with? Clearly, you weren't that mad.
In the words of Domenic, people can't get canceled if they don't care.
But she was like 15. Of course she cared. If
Yeah,
I
but
was
she didn't
15
do
and getting
anything.
hated on by everybody under the sun, I'd probably care too.
But she didn't care enough to leave.
She didn't.
Well, all I can say is
She gained 100
apparently,
million followers for that.
apparently you can't cancel the uncancelable. So,
Can't.
friends, we are not going to be canceled anytime soon. Because why? Apparently we just don't care. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think we hit that pretty good today?
Yeah.
I want to hear who your guy is.
When I was thinking of this, he's definitely not the first, but he's one of the OGs of cancel culture. And
Better not be dumb.
It's not the second time. It's the first.
Better
it's
not
the
be
first
dumb.
time.
I've been waiting this whole episode for this.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh yes, you started talking about this even
Because
on
if you
Saturday.
remember, the first time, not the second time, the
Not
first
the
time, the comedian Dave Chappelle.
Are you
Come
nuts?
on!
It's fine.
Are
it's
you
fine.
nuts?
It's fine.
Chappelle show.
I know.
So during the Chappelle show, his whole thing is allegedly, because I was not there, so I'll say allegedly. For the Chappelle show, the execs wanted him to wear a dress in one of his skits, and he says, "I don't want to wear a dress." And Dave Chappelle, so he's like going off on him, and he says that he told him he doesn't agree with wearing a dress, and he thinks that Hollywood is trying to demasculate black men by putting them in dresses and labeled all the people that wear dresses.
Young Thug.
Well, before that, Martin Lawrence did it, like all like the sitcoms, like these prominent black men wearing dresses. So they said, all right, well, if you're not going to do it, we're going to cancel your show. And then on top of that, they were making accusations that Dave Chappelle was now crazy and he's quitting the show. Well, he got fired because they can't handle him. He's a mental case. And so
That's
he did,
the big one. Just you're crazy.
what he did is that he
They
left.
messed them up. They really put him. I mean, they totally they ruined this guy.
Yeah, so bad that he left. He took his family, went to Africa for a little while. But the best thing was, 'cause I think they offered him, and I might be wrong with the original, with the numbers. You can fact check this. They offered him $10 million to wear the dress. He said no. He left, and then when he came back, 10, 15, 20 years later, was it the Chappelle show? It's like 15-ish years later, when he made the special deal with Netflix, he made what, $100 million around that?
Yeah, it was a big deal. And then they tried to cancel him off his last special.
Yeah.
For the same transgender type of stuff.
Yeah.
But then what's funny is he goes and he actually goes to a Kevin Hart show with his son. His son wants to meet Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle are actually friends.
This is a good story.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'll introduce you to Kevin Hart. Takes him to go meet Kevin Hart in his dressing room. Kevin Hart's like, hey, what's going on, Dave? Gets him in. His son fanboy is like hardcore for Kevin Hart.
He's
He's sitting
one of
there.
his specials.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a good
he's sitting there. They're having like dinner to Kevin Hart's like they're eating signing stuff for the show. He was like Dave Chappelle's another one that they say is like supposed to be like really like salt of the earth, cool
He
guy.
doesn't care. I listen to
he
Dave
doesn't
Chappelle on
care.
so many podcasts, so many interviews, whatever. He's just a guy.
Yeah, Kevin Hart, but like Kevin Hart, I have a lot of respect for these guys who are like the salt of the earth like that. Like
Rogan.
Yep.
But
Rogan's a little racist for a little bit too.
No, he wasn't.
I forgave him though.
Well, he said it in a quotation for a thing. He was reading a quotated article.
I don't know. I heard on the Mark Levin show that he made some anti-Semite comments as of a little recently, maybe 2 months ago.
Not Joe Rogan. Not real anti-Semite comments.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's another thing because I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's a cancel culture thing too. If you say anything about Jewish people that doesn't align with what the Jewish community likes, you're labeled an anti-Semite and you should be destroyed.
Dude, some of Rogan's best friends are Jews. Rogan's best friends with Ori Shafir. He's a Jewish guy. They do a podcast together.
Is Seth Rogen not Jewish?
Seth
He is
Rogen
Jewish. Some of his greatest friends are Jewish. He says one thing about whatever in a joke in context, everyone's gonna eat him up for it.
Yeah.
Also,
I was talking about Joe Rogan, not Seth Rogen.
yeah, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Not Seth Rogen. Joe Rogan's a bald guy. He's muscling.
In any case, that's a topic for another day.
That is time for another day.
Listen, I don't know if you know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, but I never end an episode without giving you the invitation. You know, the Bible says that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That's in Romans 3, chapter 23.
You said it wrong. If you're listening to the sound of my voice.
Oh, you wanted me to say the script word for... See, you know, Sierra's getting so good at this. If you're listening to the sound of my voice and you don't have the Lord Jesus Christ in your life, is that better, Sierra?
That's a tag. We're getting a T-shirt with that phrase on it.
You know, we'd love for you to, you know, reach out to us. We'd love to pray with you. We'd love to talk to you about who Jesus Christ is. Again, you know, part of the reason we do this episode, or these episodes, is to kind of talk to you about who we are, what we believe. It's to kind of bridge the gap between the Christian world and the non-Christian world, and to show you that, you know, this world is crazy. It is going through some perilous times. There is a lot of insanity going on. And there is a solution to get us through these insane times together, and that is Jesus Christ and what he did on Calvary, which was to die, shed every drop of blood so that we can be free from sin. You know, John 3:16, like we share almost every episode, says that God sent his son to die on that cross for you and I. And it says in verse 17 that he didn't send him to just die to condemn the world, but that through him the world would be saved. That means that there's a way out. There's a way out of hell. There's a way out of eternal condemnation. That is Jesus Christ. So we'd love to offer you the opportunity to get to know who Jesus Christ is. We'd love to offer you a chance for salvation. And it's very simple. You just have to accept him with your heart and just, you know, cry out to God and repent of your sins. And that's a very simple process. Just reach out to us. Go to our website, www.temporaryinsanitypodcast.com. Check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, our YouTube page, all of our pages, all of social media. We're at Temporary Insanity Podcast. You can DM us or just find a way to contact us. Our phone number is listed on all of it. And we would love to connect with you and walk you through that process so that you can know who Jesus Christ is. And we'd love to set you up with the Bible. If you find yourself in the North Providence area and you're looking for a place to worship, we'd love to have you join us here at our home church, Saving Grace Church here in North Providence, 1 Volturno Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. We're here every Sunday morning worshiping at 10:30 a.m. If you can't make it in person, how can they watch us, CC?
You can go on our Facebook and watch our live.
Watch our live stream. We're on every Sunday on Facebook. We're on every Sunday also on YouTube at Saving RI. If you go to our website, www.savinggrace.church, you can find all of our live streams. You can find all of our information. If you're interested in getting some more in-depth knowledge of Scripture, we have our Bible workshop every Sunday morning, live here in person at 9:30 with Pastor Floriano as he digs into God's Word. We'd love to have you join us for that as well. Maybe you're not from around here. Maybe you're looking for a church to plug in and get to know who God is. Give us a shout. We'll plug you into a church in your neighborhood. We're connected with churches all over the country. We'd love to get you set up in a good Bible-following family where you can start your journey and plug into God's Word in a mighty, mighty way. So that's about it. That's all we have for today. Tune in next week as we come back at noon. Our behind the scenes will be up at 3 p.m. Check it out. We have the whole crew here. You'll see us all on video. If you haven't done so already, follow our pages. Check out our website. And keep sharing, keep liking. We're getting our numbers up there. We love the fact that you're enjoying the program. If you have a suggestion or an idea, reach out. You might find it on the program.
And if you're one of the people fighting on our Facebook page, keep it up. It's fun.
Keep fighting.
Keep fighting.
Keep it PG-13, but keep fighting.
Yeah, keep fighting though.
Look, there's nothing like lively
Come
debate.
after me.
I love getting a notification that some other random bearded white dude kind of has something to say.
Alrighty. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. Ada's gonna talk us out. God bless you. Catch you next Friday.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
Nice.
Sweet.
This blazer was getting hot.
Whew, I gotta put an air conditioner in here.
This can't be noisy though. We're gonna hear in the
Yeah.
background.
Gonna say bye to your peeps?
Oh yeah. Ow.
Bro, it's so hot.
There's a little sun in here.
Ow.